Generation Dan, the podcast equivalent of pouring syrup on your eggs, and that's disgusting. I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
As someone who's just getting over or who has diabetes, I'm telling you, syrup on eggs, delicious when it's good syrup. That's my opinion. I'm Dino, the genetic marvel, your Gen Xer.
Yeah, Cole's not here today, so no Zoomer. But our guest, he's a comedian in LA with me, Paul Naegle. Everybody, how are you?
Hi, how's it going? I'm 100% pro syrup on eggs.
What is wrong with you people?
Listen,
It's good.
Put it on everything. Like when you have breakfast, just a little drizzle brings out. It's like a little salt in a sweet dish brings out some unique flavor.
I can't do the sweet and savory thing. It doesn't like.
I'm gonna hold on, but are you using like maple syrup or maple syrup? Because I'm in Canada.
You're in Canada. Yeah.
I have maple trees in my street. Okay,
like you just go outside and get some.
Well, yeah. At the same time, I live in a house of snow and stuff like that. So, all the normal stuff. I don't drive a car. I drive a sled. Just I may be Santa Claus. There's a 50-50 chance. It's like I feel like I would be like Santa Claus's not so good cousin who, doesn't really bring you press, maybe takes some with him on his way out. That's fair.
There's a movie about that. It's called Fred Claus and it has Vince Vaughn in it.
Which is not fair. He's not fat enough. I feel like that should have gone to John Candy type person or...
well, that's what the brother of Santa Claus is. He's the bad boy. He's the rock and roll guy.
Yeah, but listen, it's cold. You need some fat. That's just, okay? You can't... A thin Santa is a Krampus, and that's not good.
Then you get the demon on American Dad who's singing like soul songs while he's whipping kids.
I feel like that's where we really lost things. It's like we've talked about all the good, like there's Santa, and you're like, but if there's no Santa, guess who's coming? And just make sure people have a little more fear in their life, and not just from the government, but from everything. It's good. It's healthy.
But greetings, ladies and gentlemen in ladies' attire. Burn.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Is it the collar? It may be the collar. That's all right. Thanks, Nick.
I think you might be talking to Paul because of his hair, but
yeah.
I've always listen. I grew up in the '80s. I have a love-hate relationship with a mullet. I've seen banging mullets, and then I've been like, that was forced on you by a mistake. But I think Paul, yours is got some charisma to it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I've always had my hair long for or at least the past decade I've had it long, and then I finally decided last year I was like, you know what? I've never had just a mullet. I'm gonna go for it. And then I was like, but I don't want the side shaved off. I'm too scared to do that. So I just was like, give me the 80s hair metal mullet. That's what I want. And it's probably about a month too long now.
I would suggest go to a place, get a little blowout, and really make it rockin'.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, listen, do a little strut down. Yeah, it's worth a try just to give yourself that nice little feeling. Because once in a while, I used to have hair. I remember how good it was. I mean, you're like, oh, what's up, everybody? I didn't cut my hair almost pretty much for the first 18 months, if not 2 years of the pandemic. So it looked just like longer in the front, but then when I turned around, it was like ridiculous. And people were like, oh my God. I'm like, it's so horrible. But I just didn't care.
Business in the front, take your family out back and murder them in the back.
Wow.
Honestly, it gave off. Do you remember the movie The Cell with Vincent D'Onofrio and Jennifer Lopez?
No.
It was really wild. But he had real Vincent D'Onofrio is a hero of mine because he just looks so absolutely untrustworthy. And you're like, and then he talks and you're like 100% murderer just immediately, right? Which I'm like, hey, that's my people. I'm there for it, right? So, but in that he had this hair where it's like, yes, you're definitely balding, but there is enough hair to kind of cover everything. But it's not a comb over. It's still coming from the top. It's just, not seated well. I'm like, well, it's fine. It's a distinctive, scary look. Keeps the strangers away. I'll tell you.
I just like the idea of him being in a movie, and then at the end he's like, "This credit scene is brought to you by Keeps." And I was too late. Don't be too late to get Keeps or whatever.
Listen, the amount of people making jokes about people going to Turkey and coming back looking different, you're like, I can't say that that's not on my list. I'm like, listen, I got a few, pokers in the fire. That I'm like, if some of them turn around, I'm like, I may come back with a full head of hair, and I am okay with that.
I didn't know that was a thing until like very recently, and I've like been seeing it. I'm like, oh, this is like things like somebody is doing this like right now.
So they'll give you veneers, like full veneers,
Okay.
hair plugs, like a lot of plugs for the thing for your tops, but at the same time, it's like it's kind of like resortish. So I think it's like 5 to 8 days where you're like, okay, you're all bandaged up and everything, but it's like they provide food and everything. You're in an air conditioned place. You're not like, okay, go travel, because like you can't travel so soon after any sort of surgery. Like that's not healthy, right?
They're like, get on a plane, go home type of thing, or
they're like, yeah, hang out for 5-6 days, make sure everything's going, give a little inspection as to everything's healing properly, then you're on your way. But at the same time, like, hey man, like Jimmy Carr looks fantastic right now because he did it too. Like he was receding, but he has like a big fancy swoosh, like from the 80s, like the big right. So now all of a sudden he's got short hair. He's like, yeah, during the pandemic, perfect opportunity. He's got a buttload of cash, right?
Yeah.
Hired a good doctor, got it all redone. And you're going, why didn't he shave his head? His hair looks weird. Oh, it's all new hair. You rich motherfucker.
Yeah.
Every time. You're like, why couldn't you share, Jimmy? Why couldn't you share with us?
Yeah, we're stuck with Keeps. And,
the
the most tragic part about that is that we're not actually sponsored by Keeps. This is all just like
you're a Hims podcast.
Yeah.
No, we're sponsored by the Turkish government.
Oh wow!
Hey, we'll take whatever sponsorship we can
genocide.
get. Whatever sponsorship we can get. Like, realistically, I'm the perfect candidate. I'm like, listen, send me over there. I'll videotape the whole thing. I'm like, I have all my teeth. They're not bad, but they're not even. So let's jazz them up a little bit. Maybe put a few diamonds in there.
Yeah,
just saying. I feel like if I could close quarter, like glare to the face, like as a defense, I think that's a selling feature.
We're ostensibly talking about brunch in this podcast. That's what the syrup thing was at the beginning. Now we're all the way over here. I don't know what happened.
I feel like this is the most manly brunch conversation ever. Be like, hey, I've been thinking about it. Be like, maybe the teeth while I'm there. I don't know. At my age, it's kind of like, hey, man, spend an extra $500-600, $1,000 just to enjoy yourself. Just have a couple days to yourself. A nice little hotel wank. It's good. It's a very enjoyable experience. Because tell you, stuff doesn't last forever. My joints are boned.
No. I was banking on it lasting forever.
The entire internet is. Don't worry, Paul.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
I actually think that most of the internet is banking on it not lasting forever, hopefully.
Okay, you guys are young. Have you, Paul, so did you grow up with the internet or both, with and without?
A little bit of both. Not as much without, but I definitely didn't have it until I was like mid-grade school, probably.
Okay. So, you know what? And that's the time when realistically teachers didn't realize, like everyone was dumb, right? So it's like, if you knew about the internet, you may be a weirdo, but also you definitely have a leg up on a lot of people. Because
I think if you're a millennial, your computer class was typing until about 7th grade, and then they were like, oh shit, stuff's happening.
Yeah,
or like
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I had one computer class in grade 7. We had Apple computers, and I was like, this shit is weird, because it was like the old, like, little square, the ones that people are like, that's $1 million now. Like, it's insane. Which you're like, it doesn't do anything. You know that my phone is like 1 million times. Anyways, the point is this. It was horrible back then too, and they're like, oh well, this is different, but it's going to be progressive. And you're like, hey, my dad works with steel. Do you have anything about that kind of stuff? And they're like, no. And I'm like, good.
No, we got rid of Metal Shop in 1986. Sorry.
You know how much crap I got into? So one of the automotive teacher, one of the tests to do for extra credit was to weld 2 pieces of steel together. So I did it horribly because I'm a horrible welder. And he grabbed it. He's like, your dad has a machine shop. I'm not accepting this. And I'm like, man, I'm a bad machinist. Like my dad's trying to teach me and I am not getting any of it. Like I was a horrible welder, horrible machinist, horrible at every tool. And he's like, can you go in the office? I'm like, I can do the office. And I'm like, that's easy. I can use this. The rest, not so much.
I remember watching like Paul. Were you did you watch Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide? Okay, so like they had wood shop on that show.
Yeah.
and we didn't have wood shop by the time we were in like middle high school, right?
I think I had I think my high school may have had a wood shop elective, but there wasn't like it was like very hard to fit electives into your schedule. Like most of the time it was like you had to like take the core classes, and then at that point in high school it was like you were trying to just make sure a college thinks your resume looks good. So you're like, I'm not going to take wood shop. I'm going to try and take AP European history or some shit.
Yeah, exactly. And like I have two half siblings that are in late elementary, early middle school, and their school is starting to get those electives back in again.
Yeah.
Where they're starting to get like wood shop and metal shop.
Yeah.
It seems like they're starting to realize like, oh, not everybody can. There's only so many computer jobs that is possible that we need like people to still like build things. Like,
build computers.
Yes, we need people to build computers and just things in general. It's like we gotta find these people.
Like all the plumbers and all those people are starting to die off. So you gotta
listen, man. That's the one thing that I remember. I was working. I used to be a financial planner, Paul, which like was a real job and stuff. Like with like real drugs and stuff. It was awesome. But like one of the things that I was talking with people was like, he goes, "This is the thing is, if you know electricity, like mankind will always fear the dark. That's just that's just life." He goes, and the second one is everyone shits. He goes, those are two jobs. If you know even the basic principles of them, you are leaps and bounds ahead of most of society. And listen, realistically, if you're smarter, become an electrician because nobody likes poop. Like, and if you do,
it's a lot easier, a lot cleaner.
You're that guy. Yeah. So, but that's the thing is like those jobs are a necessity of existence. I remember in my high school was different, and we didn't even have a football team. And the principal, who was the worst, she was like, "We focus on education here. We don't focus on sports." And I'm like, sports is an integral part of growing up and maturing as an adult, both for men and women. It's a huge thing because it's about teamwork and understanding. Like, remember, up until 100 years ago, at that age, you were sent to, train for war. You were a conscript. You were drafted. You were a mage or a page. You were something.
A mage.
A mage.
They were doing magic shit back then. Yeah. Okay.
I've had a long life. It's fine. It's very weird, but it's like that. Those things are huge. We only had the 3 classes we had there was an auto shop class, which was awesome. We had a woodworking class, which was the worst. And then we had a drafting class, which bro, the stuff we got away with in drafting was killer.
See, now when you say drafting, I'm imagining like
drafting tables that tilt the whole thing, and like you had to have a proper chair, and like it had like a little dial on one side with two long things, and you're like, shh. Like it was very like, okay, when you open like an AutoCAD program on your computer, except in real life, in front of your face with a pencil, really cool. And
that sounds like a fully funded school.
Well, yeah, except for football team. Well, they sold the football team to get that shit. So you're like,
okay. Fair.
But then, like, the worst part was that they were like, well, nobody gonna need drafting. Everything's gonna be on computer. You're like, guess what, dick face? Doesn't make a difference. It's the skill of drawing is useful everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So it's weird. But you guys,
definitely. I took a Photoshop class in high school that is serving me to this day.
Fair.
So
fair.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you guys think would be better? Like, because photoshopping is very tech heavy, but like, wouldn't photography as well have been like a skill that would benefit you? Like, I'm asking from your perspective, right? Because from my perspective, I'm like, I still can't take good pictures. It's fucking horrible. My wife gets mad at me consistently. It's fine.
It's tough. I mean, I think it would be. I think it could go a long way too, in just convincing like people of like, yeah, we should have photography classes, not only for like artistic value and like teaching people like compositions and stuff like that, but also at the same time of like a lot of people want to be content creators. You got to know how to work a camera if you're going to do that.
Yeah, to like do Instagram better. And like I use Photoshop literally to just make the thumbnails for this and for my other podcast. Like that's all I use it for. But it's handy. It's been useful.
It comes in handy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
See, and that's so this is the thing, like one of the things I was discussing with one other person was that, like for most knowledge, you kind of have to start at the beginning and then get to a certain point. And you get to a certain point where you're going, I'm comfortable with this knowledge. This is all I need, or I want to become an expert, and it's much higher. So like math, you would start with numbers, understanding the concept of zero, addition, multiplication, but eventually you can get to theoretical physics and how the universe happens. Like it's quite broad, right?
Mhm.
But technology, you're just handed an iPad and you're like, okay, open this program and start doing it. You're like, that's not, there's a whole beginning that is very beneficial to understand, because then you understand how programming works, then how data works, and also how electronics and electricity works, and all those things where like, I think it's, who is it? Somebody does a bit on it. It's like, if you travel through time, you'd be like, we got this box that keeps things cold. You're like, how does it work? Just plug it into the wall. You're like, that's not that's not how it works, bro. Right?
And that's happening again for
everywhere.
The younger Zoomers and now Gen Alpha, where they were handed, like they had iPads and stuff and all this user-friendly crap that now they don't really know how to do the stuff that like, you know, for us millennials and Gen Xers, like mostly just to get to the porn, right? Where like no one was really teaching it to us. You had like the family computer, and then you just tried stuff until you got to the porn.
And the family computer was not in a private area.
Yeah, but it's 2 a.m. and no one's awake. So what are you gonna do?
I would send people a video where if you open it up, it's just an audio file that cranks the volume and goes, "Hey everybody, I'm looking at porn."
Dude, like
you literally, as soon as you open it up, it was just and it would happen. And I'm like, I don't even know where I got. Somebody sent it to me, but I'm like, I don't care. I'm a pervert. It's fine.
That stuff happened. So I ruined our family computer with LimeWire when I was a child.
Classic.
I'm big into LimeWire, and the classic LimeWire sound effect was always like I would be downloading a song and it would just start playing. It would be a Bill Clinton impersonation. It's like I did not have sexual relations with that woman. It's like I wanted a song by the Strokes. I guess I asked for it in that sense, but I just wanted to listen to the song.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I think with Paul's face in the thumbnail would really that would be, and just be like, huh? Like that would Paul, give us a little picture like this, and then
I'm getting impeached.
Put him on Bill Clinton's body or something. Oh my god.
Like, this is, you know what? Honestly, this is shout out to all music makers on social media and stuff. Sample stuff like Bill Clinton saying, "I did not have relations with that woman." And
that was so much better than mine. Holy crap! Yeah.
You know, just I'm saying those kind of samples, like Fauci being like, "No, you need the 4th booster." Like, just that's fine. Like, I'm just, we might as well have fun with it at this point, right? Come on,
look, at some point, I don't want to hear your producer tag anymore. Give me something fun.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I've always been comforted by music, like throughout life. And like the worst thing is when you get a banger of a song and then it's followed with something where you're like, that's not even music, you bastards. I'm like, that's not. It's just,
like,
that's just sounds.
Like the way you used to do by Queens of the Stone Age, where like it ends and then like it's about 30 seconds of just like weird dissonant synth sounds. It's what I imagine purgatory sounds like.
Yeah.
Where just end the song, you know.
And that's like, it's one of those things where I feel that the amount of time and effort, like, okay, you guys, I know Atlas, you went to like a real school that was like the Pentagon of schools, it had like 9,000 million children and 900 grades, or movies were filmed there and all sorts of crazy shit. But like, did you guys
for high school? Yeah.
Did you guys have a focus on music, or was like, there's a band, everyone's a fucking weirdo, but they play music? Like, or it was like, because like the science of music is literally part of history and a huge part of like everything. And people were like, here's a recorder, play it, whatever.
Yeah.
What about taxes? Fuck your taxes. Like, it's not,
did a recorder in elementary school. I think in the bigger high school that I went to, they had the marching band, and then that was it. The marching band for football games, and everyone else figure your shit out. Nothing else.
Yeah.
I remember the movie Drumline, and I'm like, God, it's an awesome movie. And also, too, Nick Cannon, you're like, I know why he's has a million kids. He's got quite the mouth on him. The kid doesn't, not that way. I mean, like verbally. But you're like, yeah.
There is no way that was going to end well.
I tried. I really did. It's a good movie.
I was trying to figure it out. I was like, where's he going to land this mouth play?
We're 20 minutes in. We haven't asked Paul a single question.
We should probably ask Paul something. I think that's a good idea. All right. First question.
Oh, it fits. What's an embarrassing song from your playlist?
Okay. So I thought about this one, and I think I decided that it's not embarrassing to me, but like I can see where other people would deem it embarrassing to have on my playlist. Would be How You Remind Me by Nickelback.
Nice.
That's fair.
And
yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like Nickelback has become like this Goliath of like, this is the band to hate. And it's like, I understand that. I think they're very corny and not cool, but like that song is very good. It is fun.
You know, I find one of the funny things is that the social aspect that was like, well, they're the worst. And you're going, they sell out stadiums still.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm not a huge fan, but I'm like, there's a couple bangers in there, right? Like, it's fair.
Even the worst, like huge band is like one song you're like, I can enjoy it.
Oh yeah.
I think for like, what was it? Was it Patton Oswalt where he's like, do you know the things people do for money and pussy? The fact that someone decided to go, like it is a virtue to humankind that they're not chopping off heads and taking over countries and stuff.
Well,
I can't disapprove that. Like that's like it's a weird, and also too like seeing the people who love music, like, you know, the weirdos where you're like, they would die for music. You're like, that's a little insane. I get it. But at the same time, there's like, you could just have a life and love music, and that's okay too. Right. So, but it's like, there's such a drastic, like, think about it. How many times can you like I grew up where you'd buy a new album, you're like, I'm going to listen to this whole thing, you know? And then it was like, I have a CD player in my car. I'm going to listen to it on my drive. And you're like, man, that's a banger, right? To this day, Stone Temple Pilots Purple and 9 Inch Nails Downward Spiral. I'm like, from the front to the back, I can just listen to it. And I'm like, I will tell you just to fuck off. Like, just, I'm good. If you want something to eat, just fucking leave me alone. I'm good. Okay. So
I want somebody to eat. Help me. I broke apart my insides.
I've never been an album person. I wish I was more of an album person. I've always been more of like we didn't have, my parents and stuff weren't like huge into music. So it would be like, we just listen to the radio. So it's just, you hear a bunch of singles, you never listen to a full album. But like now as an adult, and I have disposable income and various streaming income sources, streaming places to look at stuff. I'm like going through like the big band. Like I'm going through like the Beatles catalog now for the first time ever, just like front to back, their first album to like their last album. And it's like, I understand why people are like, this is revolutionary for the time. It's like, I understand things a little bit better now.
Oh yeah.
And it's a lot more fun.
Well, and that's the crazy part, was like, if you go back, you're like, it was a record that would have two sides, but that's not many songs.
Yeah.
And then it's like, like when I was young, like you could get a full album on a cassette, both sides, horrible. And then you're like, you had a CD, you didn't even have to flip it, bro. You just put in the CD, top tier quality sound. And you're like, number one, it wasn't. Number two, okay, let's give this a try. But then you're like, you see, it was almost like late 90s when there were a couple albums that got released, and you're like, there's two songs that are good, the rest of them fucking dog shit. That was Seal had an album for Kiss from a Rose, which was a banging album. It was the first CD I ever bought, was Kiss from the Rose, and the option was the Batman album, which had Kiss from a Rose, or Seal's album. And then I looked at the Batman album, I'm like, this song fucking sucks except for the one. I'm getting Seal. It was a great choice. It was a great choice, and it's a great album. I'll tell you.
I think for like millennials and Zoomers, you had you're more of a singles person, either because of like your parents just listened to the radio, or you could burn CDs. Like take little 9 Inch Nails, take a little Strokes, take a little AC/DC, take a little Zeppelin, whatever, and just put them all on one thing.
Yeah.
I
remember a friend
and really hope that your friend isn't in the car when you hit track 18, because that's, insert embarrassing song there.
Just a couple friends listening to a love ballad, crying their eyes out together, just having some fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Have you guys ever been listening to a song? Okay, so you guys are Paul. You're around Atlas's age, I'm assuming.
I'm 29. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
we're the same age.
You guys are in and around an age where you're gonna get, if you listen to like radio or satellite radio or whatever, where it's a random play in the car, there's a very good chance in the near future you guys are gonna get hit with something that's gonna like make you emotional, and you'll be like, what the fuck is happening? It's gonna freak you out. I'll tell you that right now. But the worst part is, like, it may make you cry, and then you're gonna be like, I hope no one sees me. You're gonna turn, and boom, it's gonna be people looking, and you're like, fuck. I'm just letting you guys know, when it comes, it's quite the situation. And
it's the opposite of when someone cuts you off and you're like, I gotta see you cut me off, so you drive up next to him. Now you're crying and you're like, I hope no one looks at me.
it's quite like Adele's Hello came out around the same time that my dad was passing away. And I'm like, bro, it's a rough song to listen to when someone you love is dying. It's not, and you're like, oh. And plus, like, he was in so he would have been, say, an hour away driving from where I live in the hospital. So it's like, it's a lot. But anyways,
yeah,
fun time.
And now that connection is just kind of there for that song. So it's like
forever. Oh yeah,
you can't divorce that from that song now.
Like, that is like I'll tell you, like, there's a few Backstreet Boys from my youth, the Backstreet Boys songs, where I'm like, oh, if I need cheering up, I just throw that on, no problem. There's like been a few songs, like a few songs from, like, there was a song called Fat Boy when I was young and fat, and man, that always just puts a little bounce in my step. So anyways, let's move on.
Which is I'm an adult, you can't stop me. What's something you like to do? Because now you're grown up and there's no parents to tell you no.
Disposable income.
Disposable income.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound bad, and my girlfriend who I live with is not gonna be happy about this one. But look, I'll preach it from the rooftops. Chip dinner is great, guys. If you haven't tried it, chip dinner is awesome. I'm not like a foodie guy. I watch the Food Network a lot, but I don't have like an intricate like connection with food. I love good tasting food, but sometimes I just can't decide what I want to eat. So I'm like, chip dinner, boom, easy.
Do you do chips and dip, or just like full on bag of chips?
Well, see, that it could be either. If I have a salsa, you best believe sometimes I'm just going to eat some chips and salsa for dinner. But if it's just like I have a bag of Doritos, I will just eat the Doritos.
Favorite Dorito flavor?
Spicy nacho.
Ooh, good choice.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they do nacho solid. Spicy nacho is solid. That's a solid.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm a Cool Ranch guy myself.
I understand. The Cool Ranch was always this is a weird thing. Cool Ranch always seemed like the bourgeoisie Dorito flavor when I was 100%.
Absolutely.
Nacho cheese was the working man's Dorito, or the working person's Dorito, and then it was like, oh, you're a rich family. You have the Cool Ranch version. That's cool. That's awesome.
Is this like the beer versus wine comparison, or
kind of? Like, let's be honest.
It might be. Yeah.
Listen, we all met someone who had those 3D Doritos, and we hated them immediately. You're like, who the fuck do you think you are? He's like, well, I just wanted to try it. I'm like, no, you didn't. You wanted to brag that you could afford 3D Doritos, which, let's be honest, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous plan, okay?
Yeah.
And I had Cool Ranch, and I would be the one, hey, make sure you get Cool Ranch. Like, fuck you, man. I'm like, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for all of it. Shit, I have money.
Hey, look, if it's a little extra, that's fine, okay?
Hey, I'm not to do. Okay, when you guys order extra something, I keep on getting, well, there's going to be a charge for them. I'm like, I don't care. And they're like, I'm like, well, I don't care. I desire this, and I have money to pay for it. I don't care how much it costs.
You know, it's $1 extra. I want fucking cheese. Put it on there.
Right? Like, I feel like that's one of those things where that was one of the defining moments of who I was as an adult. When they're like, "Oh, that's going to cost extra." When I was like,
"Okay,
did I ask you how much it cost? Did I have a stroke?"
I can see the board behind you. It says, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is like these restaurants are really pushing the limits of what they think we know. It's like if you go to Chipotle, they're like guac is extra. It's like I fucking know. I'm an adult. I know that guac is extra. It's a very common knowledge thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's it. Where they're like, maybe this person just isn't aware that this would cost extra. Like I never thought about it from that perspective.
I'm sure just one too many Karens was like, why is my burrito $12.50 instead of $11.50? And then you gotta go guac is extra. So maybe it's like
guac is extra. It's like you didn't say that. It's like what I didn't think I had to say it.
We've been doing it's on the board. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember asking for bacon and cheese, and they're like, well, that costs extra. I'm like, obviously it's bacon and cheese. It should cost extra. It's delicious. Yeah. Why is that confusing?
Right? I'm getting a cheeseburger after we finish this episode recording. I haven't had lunch yet.
I haven't had a burger in so long. I haven't had a
burger
with a no. It's not because I order them without a bun, and it's just sad. I'll tell you, it's sad because people are like, "Oh, it's like a burger with a salad." I'm like, "I will
no.
fucking mouth."
Just do it. Get it protein style at In-N-Out. It's a lettuce wrap.
I've never had it. I've never had In-N-Out.
Oh, it's good. Come visit me in LA. I'll show you In-N-Out.
Yeah. Well, as soon as the border opens and I can fly, I'll definitely pop by and harass you for a couple days. It'll be horrible. Listen, let's be honest. I'll definitely ruin at least a day of yours. We'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, my fiance is already not too jazzed that I do this show at all. So
yeah. I'll make sure she hates it.
Jesus Christ.
People like me in person mostly just because I'm very big, and they're like, "Well, you're going to like him or you're going to be scared of him." And then those are the options. It's pretty fair. It's pretty reasonable. Well.
Third question. You explain it.
I need an adult-to-your adult. This would be a time when someone looked to you for, say, advice or as the responsible person in the crowd, and you're like, me? Absolutely not. Keep on trucking with that look. Like for myself, I had a comic going, "You look like an adult. Can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Probably not, but go ahead. I am old."
Or there was one time where my friend's dog was having a seizure. I'm epileptic, and he's like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "That's a dog. Call a vet."
Don't call 911. Call a vet. You're not going to get anywhere with the 911.
Yeah.
Not anywhere anymore. You just 911 just doesn't pick up anymore. They're like, call someone else.
Or even worse is when you call a doctor's office and they're like, if you are having an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Like the person calling you is going to be like, "Oh shit, I can do that." Like,
oh wait, my primary care provider, they're not treating my heart attack. Oh, okay. I will call 911. No. I understand the ambulance is extra in this case.
Yeah. Full circle.
Adultier adult. I think the most adult moment I've had was when. Wow, that's correct. No, I had to stop. I saw it. It's totally very correct.
For people listening, Dino looks like someone you meet on a mission in Vice City. Which, if you're just listening, go look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, deliver the stolen credit cards to Discount Dino. 100%. I think I need a little chest hair to show off on that one. There you go.
A little bit of a Russian accent, maybe. Yeah.
I don't want to go off on a tangent, but that reminded me of playing Vice City as a youth, and I never actually played the game for the story. I figured out the cheat codes so early, so I would just drive around in a flying tank and just have fun for hours and hours.
Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, that's better than a lot of gameplay. Just throw that out there.
I was like, I don't need it. Look, I don't know. I'm a child. I don't know about Miami. I don't know what's going on down there.
Yeah, give me that big head cheat in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yes.
Let's be honest though. Like, if you figured out what was happening in Miami, you're like, they definitely need some adultier adults down there because they are out of control. Just completely.
They are out of control.
I know. We keep distracting him. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Adultier adult. I think the most adult moment that I've had was when I was going to move out to LA, like almost 6 years ago now. I was like 22, 23. Mm-hmm. It was like, all right, I have to tell my parents now that I'm moving from Arkansas to Los Angeles. This is going to be an interesting conversation. And it got even conflicted because I had obviously told my friends because I live with them, and I was like, yeah, I'm moving out at this time because I'm moving to LA. But what I didn't know is they told their parents, and then their parents had told my dad.
Oh no.
So he was dropping off something for me at work, and he was like, "You're moving to Los Angeles?" And I was like, I'm still on the clock. Can we talk about? I promise we'll have a conversation after this. So spoiled right off the bat. I didn't have the moment of like I'm pursuing my dreams. It was oh yeah. Sorry. I did. I was going to tell you. I promise. But the conversation afterward I had with my dad, it was very nice. He was very understanding, but it was like the adult moment of like having to have a conversation like that.
For sure. No, definitely. Like it's one of those. Jesus Christ. I remember how like. Yeah, if you're already moving out. See, I don't understand the idea of moving out, but then like still worrying about your parents at the same time. Like if you live under their house, yeah, just you'd ask them, right? Like that's a fair thing. But if you don't, it's none of their fucking business. You can do whatever you want, right? It's Arkansas to LA. Yeah, that's a pretty fair. Like there's a distinct skill set you need for a prosperous life in Arkansas, and Paul, you seem like more suited to LA.
Yeah. Also, how to have a prosperous life in Arkansas. Don't be a child, because if you're a child, you can work there now.
Now that's prosperous. What are you talking about? A paycheck? That's prosperous.
I don't know. Tell that to.
If you could get in a union at the age of 14, there's a good chance you could retire by 34, and like that's a great time. Like, I'm just throwing this out there. Not for everyone, but some people. What my problem was, it was migrant kids. You're like, that's doubly like, hey, you cheated, and then you cheated cheating. That's too much. Yes. Too much cheating. It's not.
You got caught. You said you wouldn't cheat again, and then you were cheating while we were having the discussion of you shouldn't cheat anymore.
Yeah. I feel like that's a Shaggy move. It's like, what was it me? You're like, bro, caught you on the floor, man. It happened. I was there. You know, it's a little much.
Wasn't me.
I love the bold confidence of that guy. Just like, wasn't me. Hey, we have a picture of you right here. You say I'm Shaggy and I'm doing this right now, and you said, not me.
That's apparently like a legal defense. Like they have named it the Shaggy defense.
The Shaggy defense.
Yeah,
I love that.
Well, come on. Like realistically, if Google can get a picture of me inside my house, why can't security cameras have a decent picture? It seems like an odd oversight.
I think because they have to capture so much data in a day that you have to like make it so blocky to begin with.
If Google can get a picture of me in the window of my house, clearly, I don't think it's an issue of.
But they're not doing it 24 hours a day.
Hey, listen, I asked a guy at Google. They're definitely looking at me 24 hours a day. Okay, I've lost a lot of weight. I am.
Yeah. One of the weirdest things about
like rooting for you.
I use DuckDuckGo as my browser, and like whenever you go on a page, there's a little thing at the bottom right, like here are all the things that are watching you, and I'm like, that's great. Can you do anything about it? They're like, man, not our job. Like,
I got McAfee for free with something, and they're like, hey, do you want us to clear the trackers? I'm like, yes, all the time. If there are trackers on my computer, yeah, clear them. I don't. This is the one thing where I can't get mad. Like Atlas will sign into our the Generation Dan Google Drive using a what the hell is it? Incognito mode. So it always sends me an email across the country in another country going, hey, did you just sign in? I'm like, no, I didn't. Fucking Atlas.
I know. I'm sorry. I try and
Incognito. I get it.
I try and clear it as fast as possible because they're like, hey, did you do it? Goes to my phone too. So
yeah. So, but the funny thing is just like, hey, you know what, guys? Let's be secure, but also maybe you should remember that the fucko's signing in incognito. Just calm down. Just relax, okay? It's the same. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. It happens with all my devices. It's like, oh, you logged into your Gmail account at a coffee shop 5 blocks from where you live. This couldn't possibly be you. It's like, what are you talking about? Of course, it's me, morons.
Well, how many times this is the newest thing is if I look up a product, I get the ads. I understand. I understand what you're trying to do. It's number one, super sketchy, Google. But I get it. That's fine. You looked for it. Maybe you're still interested. Maybe it's a reminder. Fine. If I've bought the product, why are you telling me about it, you dumb shit?
Yeah. Especially when it's like something that you would never get twice. Like let's say you're looking up a vacuum and then it's like, hey man, check out these vacuums. I'm like, what do you think I'm like collecting them? Where's
you
the
get a product with like a lifetime warranty and it's like it's still showing you ads. You're like, I thought it was a lifetime warranty. This is clearly a lie.
Yeah.
See, I think they should go the other way and be like, did you buy this by mistake? Guess what? There's something better. And you're like, see, then be like, Google duped you. And you're like, I feel like that's the Amazon way. I don't know. It's like, hey, you have a good business there.
I do know that like Google in general, when doing stuff on like looking stuff up just on the search engine, sucks now compared to like 6 years ago or so. Because now whenever I look something up, 9 times out of 10, I want the Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
It's on the second page now.
Which is insane.
Yeah. Now you have to go thing Wikipedia or something to get it on the first page.
That's where it's so confusing to me, where it's like, hold on, you guys were taking advantage and with the ads and the selling. And I'm like, hey, that's fine. Like, you got to run a business. That's fair.
Yeah.
That worked. You became some of the most profitable companies in the world in all of time. Why did you make it stupid? That doesn't seem profitable. Yeah. If anything, it seems counterproductive to what you were originally doing. It's kind of like somebody somewhere put in like a U and was like, they're never going to find this. Save. Yeah. And everyone's like, oh, why is everything broken now? It's like, and the guy who put the U in is like, good. Everyone just turn to anger. Like it's
discount Dino.
Discount Dino.
Discount Dino.
When Cole
comes,
discount Dino.
When Cole comes back, he's going to be so confused.
It's fine. I use Bing.
Google's all sponsored that. Yeah.
That's also true. Yeah.
Also,
and also like, Bing. Oh, it's the worst.
I really don't think it's the worst. I really think it's the propaganda. But
I tried Bing.
Just like the Zune. Exactly, Atlas. Just like the Zune.
There's that. And then like, I think that.
The Zune.
Yeah. Betamax. You know?
Red Ray.
No.
This Blu-ray shit, get that out of here. I'm an HD DVD guy until I die.
Oh God.
But or just like going from that to like looking stuff up on Reddit, like a surprising amount. I've gone on Reddit and been like replacing the headlights in my car because those went out recently. How to replace headlights on car. Doodle was like, hey, you want to buy some headlights? Here's mechanics in the area. I'm like, okay, I have the headlights in hand. How do you physically go into this model of thing? And then Reddit had the answer and YouTube had the answer, where it's a guy going, all right, and it's from like 2007 or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, I'm replacing the headlights on my car. It's filmed with like a shitty camera. Those are the best videos for figuring out stuff to do.
Honestly, like, how is it that people like can have an opinion so and spread it so much when you're going, oh, that's completely wrong. It's just completely horribly, like, Paul, a while ago we started discussing the food pyramid, and it was like, yeah, for part of my youth they were like, hey, you're gonna need 9 to 11 servings of bread. You're like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a lot of bread.
That's what it was for us, I think, until about like middle school. And then they had the one where it's the guy climbing the stairs.
Yeah.
And then now it's a plate with the 4 things on it.
But that's the whole thing. You're like, it's turned around where it's more helpful in people just sharing knowledge to try and better themselves versus people like, hey, do you want a secret? Do this. And you're going, no, you know what? I don't want to know anyone's secret. I am bad at keeping secrets. Don't tell me secrets. I just want knowledge, just straight knowledge, information. That's good. I'll figure it out.
Or the dairy industry being like, hey, we have too much milk. Can you like do some ads with celebrities with milk mustaches so people drink more milk? Even though like 2/3 of the country is allergic to dairy or whatever the fuck it was.
Listen, they should have. If you can't survive a peanut butter sandwich, you shouldn't have survived a peanut butter sandwich, bro. Sorry.
It's like the weirdest form of eugenics.
So many youth don't know the joy of PB&J for lunch. America lost its way. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. Because I would get a catapult. If I lived close to a school, I would get a catapult that would just shoot PB&J sandwiches from my backyard to their house. Because I can't. It's just ridiculous.
You've got your man bra. You're like pulling it back on 2 tree branches, firing it into the air. They just all over the playground.
Just open face. Just to kids. Can you imagine some kid just getting fucking taken out
Nailed,
by a PB&J? Just hey Billy, come. Pah!
No.
Just, you know? Is he
But
bleeding? No, it's strawberry jam all over his face. It's great. I feel like it's a great time to watch that. You know?
A strawberry jam PB&J. Are you a strawberry jam PB&J guy?
Strawberry jam kind of guy. And
I'm a raspberry fan.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's why you have epilepsy, because of the raspberry.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
It's the same thing when people are like, I like grape jelly. I'm like, you're disgusting.
Okay, grape is disgusting.
Well,
I'll give you that.
No, it is not. It's not real jelly, okay?
Well, I'll take the verbal punishment here. I like grape jelly. I like grape jelly, grape jam. I like strawberry jam too. I really do like all of them, but I
like
love a classic Welch's grape.
Yeah.
Okay, but Welch's as the same. So this is the thing, okay? I can't get over. It's just too jiggly, okay? It makes me uncomfortable. It's just too much.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my tummy.
Now, listen, okay. I had a joke where I'm like, I tell people, I'm like, you guys think this is McDonald's? I'm like, nah. When I bounce, I thunk. I don't, I dunk, okay? Because this is made out of steak and truffles. But now that I'm losing weight, everything's so jiggly. And I'm like, everything's gross. It's not healthy. It's not a healthy thing. But.
Yeah, you like fully committed to the fat guy thing, or your genetics did, or the food did. I don't know who did it, but you did. So your density increased. You became a dying star of the fat guy, and then once that starts losing it, then the mass starts decreasing. So you're like not fully there, and then
I'm an empty star. It's very weird. I'll tell you.
Oh, a neutron.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
Dino Neutron.
You got a robot dog? Bark, bark.
I love that fat kid who's like llama, 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 llama.
Yeah. And it's voiced by Rob Paulson, who I didn't know until about like a year and a half ago. Yeah,
I didn't know that till now.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's okay. That's a good point, Joey. Right, like no one pays attention to skinny Al Roker or skinny John Goodman. That's a fact. And you know what? John Goodman is incredible. It's Al Roker. He looks weird. Let's be honest. And his face kind of freaks me out. He may be a ghost, but you know,
it was John weird Goodman. It was very funny, but it was very weird that Al Roker just shared on national TV. He was like, "Yeah, I shit my pants one time at the White House." It's like, okay, you can keep that to yourself.
I feel like that's something you definitely wouldn't share, right? Like, of all the places, I would just lie and say I shit myself after I left the White House. You're like, that happens. It's a daunting experience. I understand.
Yeah, it's very frightening. You're like, no,
I gotta say, it's pretty freeing being able to tell people you shat your pants somewhere, like staring into the eyes of a Del Taco employee.
I know you take pride in that story, and it's a great story. At the same time, that woman needed therapy for so long. I'm sure.
No, she thought I was some kind of ghost or something.
Listen,
drifting through.
Joey's dropping comments, but at the same time, now he brings up the fat guy from Head of the Class. Does anyone even remember his name? Yeah, Joey. Everyone remembers his name, specifically from quite a few stories that are out and about. Sir, Jesus,
you lost me. No, I don't remember Head of the
That
Class.
guy produces a lot of young adult entertainment. And when I mean young adult, I mean like with children's shows like Miley Cyrus and Selena Gomez and all those. Yeah, he's a fucking
I think all of them are in their 30s.
Oh,
you know the
Nickelodeon guy.
Yeah. Well, he used to be, when I was young, he was the fat guy from Head of the Class.
Oh, okay.
Now he's the fat gross producer. I'm like,
and not Dan Schneider, right? Dan Schneider was the guy behind like Drake and Josh and the Amanda Show.
No, I think that is him. That's what I was
yeah, dude, do not Google anymore. Trust me, just close that up. Close that up. Because
a lot of sponsored ads on that one. Really trying to bury some stuff.
Really trying to bury that stuff. Yeah, that's oh God. Oh, fun times. But yeah, no, that's where I always find it weird when you're like, hey man, maybe you could just do your job and have a good time and not be a dickhole to everybody. And people are like, no, I have to be the worst. You're like, you don't have to. Like,
you don't have to.
For so long,
no, boss means bad.
Well, how many times have people been like, being nice to people doesn't cost you a thing? Like, kindness isn't expensive. And now people are like, you know what it costs to be an asshole? Same price. Zero. And you're like, oh, That's accurate too.
And somehow the rewards are a little better. I don't like it.
Right? You're like
cathartic. I feel like being nice to people only works if you're already in a nice mood. You can't like, okay, I'm in a good mood now. Like that's hard to do.
That's fair.
That's why I try and just stay at a 3 out of 5 stars. If you get 5 stars, it's because I'm in a 5-star mood, not because of you. That's not. You'll get 3 stars because I'm a responsible citizen in a civilized society. Anything more than that or less, you did that to yourself. Okay,
keep yourself in a medium. Yeah.
Listen. Yeah. I think that we have to be comfortable with medium more often. Otherwise, because this whole 5-star shit.
Yeah. Oh,
no one talks about toothpaste. Not one person.
What?
Nobody. Come on. Have you ever been asked to rank a toothpaste? You've never been asked that?
No.
Oh God.
Every dentist.
Toothpaste or the dentist. I've heard had to rank toothpaste. I've never been like, what do you think?
Where a dentist was like, listen, I've been a dentist for 30 years. Not one person has ever asked me shit about shit. Okay, so fucking liars.
I mean, maybe it's like the old guys who are like, all right, you've had to practice for 40 years, come work for Crest, and then you don't have to, talk to people anymore. And you're like, but I really wanted to be Steve Martin in Little Shop of Horrors. Okay, fine.
All right. I guess before we go on to our last question, Paul, where can everyone find you?
I am on Instagram at just Paul_Naegle, Naegle. I have a Twitter, but it's like locked because I'm looking for like a job. So that's fair. I don't really even use Twitter that much anymore. I just like look at things, but it's like obviously it's going downhill with everything going on. But
because
you can follow me there if you want. It's the same thing, but it's like I don't know, I'm boring over there.
Oh, I feel like that's we should start a new trend where it's like for boring content, click here. Just be like, that's it. It's just boring content. Be like, do you know that you can just not eat broccoli and have so much more joy in your life?
If you like milk toast, check out my Twitter, I guess.
It's a great one. Where's my Lego build? Oh, that's for me. Yeah. They're coming back. Don't worry, Dorito. Someday. That's all right.
What? At Dino the Generic Marvel? Yeah?
Yeah, everywhere. Google me. If you're not willing to Google me, don't. We're not going to be friends.
You can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. I do short form sketches, mostly about what it's like to have epilepsy. Hey, they've worked out pretty well,
and they're awesome. They're fantastic.
Then you can also find my other podcast at Nexus at Night on Twitter or Instagram or wherever you find podcasts. That's about a trading card game.
Yes.
That I've been playing off screen with myself this entire time.
Also to follow at Sniffing Glue 22, which is Cole Clayton. He couldn't be here. His child brought home tuberculosis, so he is possibly
he's got the consumption. He's got to go to a cabin near the ocean shore so he can,
He's currently coughing into a handkerchief. Sad music in the background.
Just so you know, Dorito, so this is still, I haven't continued. This is the skull of the Havoc staff from Skeletor that I'm building out of Lego. Yeah, but I'm like, at the same time, it's a purple skull, and I feel like I could pull off some weird Shakespearean shit just doing stuff with this. I don't know.
Please take a picture Hamlet style with the...
Yeah, I could, Photoshop. I have a picture. My wife got a painting made with my face of like King Edward,
King Lear.
No. It's like a real, actual historical person. It's quite impressive.
Take a picture. I have to see this.
Yeah, I will. I think it's on my Instagram somewhere. But yeah, but I'm like, I could just use that and Photoshop it, and then with the skull, it'll work. Definitely something. But anyways,
before we go, though, one more question for our guest, which is, as a comedian, what is a memorable set you've had, good, bad, weird, or otherwise?
Okay, my most memorable set takes place on a St. Patrick's Day weekend. I was back in Arkansas. This was a few years ago. I was visiting some friends, and we had originally we're gonna do the city that I'm like not from, but like where I went to college puts on like a bar crawl every year for like St. Patrick's Day. So we're like, let's just go get fucked up. We're gonna go do the bar crawl. We're gonna have fun. And about 3 hours before, one of my good friends, Stetson, gave me a ring. He was like, "Hey, I heard you were in town. We're doing a show at this place tonight. If you want to host it, feel free to stop by and host this. If you can, just let me know as soon as you can." And I was like, "Oh, I already have plans to get fucked up." And he was like, "Yeah, it's at 8:00." And I was like, "Okay, we got this."
Yeah.
So
we don't got this. Yes.
We somehow pulled it off miraculously. I was like, you know what? I'll host the show. That's great. I'll do it. The bar crawl started at 5:00, and we were like, we're gonna still do the bar crawl. So we rushed through the bar crawl, and I was not hammered, but I was definitely very drunk by the time I got to the show. And as the host, it was a very fun set. Everybody was inebriated because it was St. Patrick's Day weekend. We were all having a lot of fun. I got to see a friend that I hadn't seen in years. He came down to do the show, so we got to hang out, smoke a little weed. That was fun. Statute of limitations, I think, have worn out for that in Arkansas.
Also, you're in California where it's legal, so whatever.
Yes, they can't come and get me.
Sorry, guys, we're too busy putting our children in factories again. So
yeah, they're not gonna worry about a little small time dime bag.
Yeah. What if the kids hunt you down?
Shit!
Children of the corn style.
Yes, children of the marijuana style.
Yeah.
Listen, where have you been? When are you coming back?
But the best part of that set was at the time someone had just introduced me to the Juggalo lifestyle, so I was just kind of watching random YouTube videos on that. And at the top of the show, I was like, was very drunk, and I was like, "Everybody, give me a whoop whoop," and everybody was like, "All right, the energy is up. We're gonna give them a whoop whoop." And I was like, "Boom, you're Juggalos now. I got you." and they were not happy, but they were laughing. You can see a look of disgust. They're like, "I won't be associated with that." But that you did get us. I will admit, you did get us. But we won't be associated with that.
Oh, that's a good bit, though. It's like, well, now you're all Juggalos.
Hey,
like, you got us.
The rules.
Yeah,
I didn't make the rules. You said it.
That's good. Yeah, that's quality. That's top tier stuff. Nice.
That's like a step away from like, give me a Sig Heil, and then people are like, okay.
That one might be a little harder. Well, know, maybe not in Arkansas, but it may be a little harder.
Certain parts of South America, you could definitely pull that off. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, maybe one or two countries on the coast.
Yeah. More than one or two. Yes, we love Grandpapa. He was a hero nationally. Mm-hmm.
So wait, how did the show turn out? Okay, or
the show was great. It was like 60 people in the room. It was awesome. Plus, I got paid, which was something I really enjoyed.
This is immediately going to beer. Yeah.
It was like I had debts from the damn bar crawl. I was just
okay. This covers O'Hallahan's or whatever the name is.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Pay it off.
Oh, yeah.
This covers all the green beer that I was drinking.
People have invited me for St. Patrick's Day. Like, hey, do you want to go for St. Patrick's Day? I'm like, absolutely not. I'm going to stay home. And they're like, what's St. Patrick's Day? I'm like, hey, man, I'm neither Irish nor do I drink that much. I'm good. I'm an old man. I'm just a fucking loser.
I couldn't do it now. I would die. It would kill me, literally.
Yeah, we have the next day. This is the last year, you and I, of being able to do like crazy drinking without it just killing us, or even like having a couple beers.
See, you say that, but I literally last weekend, I was sitting on my couch weird, and I got a muscle strain in my neck so bad I had to go to the urgent care.
Oh
I was just leaning wrong, watching Eastbound and Down, and I just pulled a muscle.
I'll be honest with you guys. I've never looked down on your generation more than this second alone. I was 450 pounds plus, and I'm like, every once in a while I'd sprain something, but you just work through it. And he goes like, I slept wrong and I sneeze. I haven't been able to move in 3 days. Like, God.
Oh yeah. When during the before the chew in a sneeze, I can feel all these muscles in my back tense up. I'm like, this is gonna get worse as I get older.
They're like, you ready, motherfucker? Yeah. Are you ready?
Key thing is prop yourself against a wall or a strong corner, and it'll keep everything straight when you achoo! It can't move too far out of place.
Smart. Okay.
That sounds like earthquake advice.
We do live in California.
You stand next to something very sturdy and just brace yourself.
Listen, if you brace yourself and brace it, you're helping each other survive. It's
symbiotic relationship.
Symbiosis is what will lead us to the future, right?
Anyway,
there we go.
Thanks everybody for listening to the show. Leave a like or a comment or a review wherever you're watching or listening to this, and we'll see you next time.